Hi, Jeff. I'm so excited that you decided to meet with me.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you, Terry. So you tell me you're a real life Stepford wife.
Yes, I am.
I thought that was just a weird conspiracy theory.
No, we exist.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. I am an anomaly.
Yeah. Well, so you want to make your life into a movie, I understand.
I do. I think I have a very interesting life.
Okay. So I'm interested. Tell me about your life as a Stepford wife.
Well, I wake up in the morning and I cook my husband breakfast and then I clean the house. And then after that, I usually make some lunch for my husband and the kids. And then I clean the house again. And then...
Okay, wait. I mean, this is like normal stay-at-home mom stuff. This isn't going to be interesting enough for a movie.
Well, I have sex with my husband anytime he wants it.
Okay, I mean, most women aren't giving it up whenever, but I mean, that's... Well, where were you before you were a Stepford wife?
I was a drug addict.
Okay. Let's just say that you were like a high-powered doctor.
Okay.
And then your husband ruined your life by making you a robot.
Okay.
I think that's a little bit more compelling.
Sure.
All right. Okay. But we're going to need at least one more thing. Like one more crazy thing that...
I can dispense money from my vagina.
You just slayed the cat.
Thank you.
Slay the Cat. Slay the Cat. Podcast!
Slay the cat is speaking truth. Slay the cat is proof. Here, let's talk your favorite film. Slay the cat is juiced. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast. Slay the cat podcast.
What's up to all my men who exclusively date ATM machines that have screaming orgasms? You are listening to Slay the Cat, a movie podcast. I am your host, Joey.
And I'm his ordinary plain wife, Erin.
Ordinary plain wife?
I don't know. I didn't think of something before because I forgot.
So
we
you
would
just
do
came
that.
up with that in the moment?
Yep.
Okay, it works.
Okay.
You're definitely not ordinary and plain.
No, I'm not. If I do say so myself.
I'm not like other
I'm
girls.
not like other moms. I'm not like other wives. I'm a cool wife.
Were you ever did you ever do that when you were younger? Say like I'm not like other girls or
No.
No, you were never like that?
I thought I was very much like other girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't strike me as the type of teenager who would have said something like that.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I was different in other ways that weren't like my behavior. It was more of like I didn't feel like I belonged in that place. Like I felt, but I knew that there was places for me because I felt like I belonged in the city because I grew up in the country.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
And so growing up, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm so different from every other person in the world. I was like, no, I just don't belong here. So.
Yeah, I know. I always felt like throughout school that I didn't really fit in very well, but I just kind of got used to it after a while.
Yeah.
I'm just fine with it. I don't know. All right.
I had a lot of friends in high school, but I just we weren't like the same, you know?
Uh-huh.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Pride Month, guys.
Pride Month.
It's the
Get out your
gayest
fans.
time of the year.
Get out your, what are those fans called? There's fans.
Fans?
Get out your fans and your
rainbow flags. That's all I know.
What else is gay?
Well, they're not rainbow flags. They're
Get
called
out
pride
your
flags.
Get out your Lady Gaga posters.
What?
Get out your GIMP masks. I'm kidding.
Go
I'm not.
visit your S&M store and get some bondage stuff or some kinky sex
Not
stuff.
every gay is into bondage.
Yeah, I know. I'm just-
No. I know. I'm saying we know that. We know that not every gay is into bondage and into crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some are, and that's okay.
They are.
You can like that if you'd like.
They do like water sports, however.
I've heard that.
Like skiing and wakeboarding and
I did not hear that. I thought you were talking about piss play.
no, I was talking about actual water sports.
You're a liar. I didn't know that piss play was a thing until I talked to some of my gay friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, what? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I just
I'm
know
very
that-
unadventurous sexually.
Yeah, both of us are.
Yeah.
But
Very vanilla. And we're fine with that.
yeah. That's what makes us compatible.
Yeah.
But
Enough about our sex life.
I've known like there's people into crazy sex stuff. Not just gay people, obviously, but just because I've always been really interested in like sex work, pornography, people who are into weird sexual things.
Interested how?
Like watching documentaries about it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just into like regular ass sex. Regular vaginal sex is what
Regular vaginal sex.
But so I want to know more about this world that I'll never ever be a part of because I couldn't. So like watching HBO Real Sex or there's a podcast called Risk that I listen to a lot, and there's always like kinky people talking about crazy stuff on there. I love it.
That's where you heard that bigdickbitch.com person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is her name? I don't know. Something Madison.
Bigdickbitch.com.
T.S. Madison.
Bigdickbitch.com.
T.S. Madison, I want to say her name is.
I think I was in
she's-
high school when I saw that video of her in the doorway, like flinging her dick all over the place. And I was like, okay.
Well, she did sex work for a time.
Yeah.
But she's got some crazy stories. She's been on that podcast like 3 or 4 times telling some insane stories.
I feel like if you are in sex work, like you got crazy stories about it.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's hard not to have crazy stories about that. Like, because sex work is such a taboo thing, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Taboo is the
I
word.
would call it taboo here where it's illegal.
But like, personally, I feel like if you want to do that with your body, that is your decision. But it is illegal here. And so like things are done under the table, I feel, or like hidden in ways that aren't like known about.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you work in that industry, like you're going to have crazy stories because a lot of it has to be kept like pushed to the side and not talked about and not told, So I bet tons of people in the sex industry have tons of crazy stories.
Yeah, one of the things I've learned about it is a lot of people who see sex workers are because they have a really specific or weird kink that they could only fulfill if they pay somebody to do it.
Oh.
Because it's hard to find just a normal person who's just like, yep, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, so I think that's where a lot of the weird stories come from. But anyway, this isn't Sex Work Month. This is Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be celebrating movies and artists and stuff that is from the LGBTQIA plus. I think those are all the letters now, right?
Yep.
They're just like, just throw a plus on there,
Yeah.
get them all in.
I was going to say something, but I can't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, well, you think about it. I was just going to say, like, this Pride Month, we're going to do things a little differently.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, because you said we're going to be talking about LGBTQIA plus stuff, like movies and things like that. But not all of these movies that we're going to be talking about are necessarily gay movies.
Right.
For Stepford Wives, there is a gay couple in it, but there's other reasons that it's loved in the gay community. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that later.
We chose the Stepford Wives today because I found an article in Out Magazine that was saying it was like 15 movies that gay people like that aren't necessarily gay movies.
Yeah.
And this was one of them, and Aaron was like, "Oh, I want to see that movie."
Yeah, I've always heard of it, and I've wanted to see it. So,
Yeah, and then
I've heard the name Stepford Wives, and I didn't really understand what it meant.
Yeah. So last year we just did some movies that had like gay themes in them. Like we did Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the Laramie
Or were
Project.
centered around gay people, like a gay character.
Yeah, but what I thought was like, oh, these are movies that like straight people want to watch, you know, about like, even though they're good movies, and I'm sure like plenty of gay people like them too, but I was just thinking like, oh, these are like
Straight gay movies.
Gay movies for straight people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So where this month I want to do something a little different, and I want to do
This year for this month.
this Pride Month this year I want to do something a little different and like talk about either movies that are liked by gay people or movies made by LGBT people or something like that. Not necessarily. I don't want to like do Brokeback Mountain or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that movie sucks anyway, so I don't want to talk about it. But that's just an example. I don't want to do gay movies for straight people. I want to talk about like, I also want to talk about gay artists too. So, or LGBT artists as well. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope.
Okay. Do you want to say the movies that we're going to do?
Well, some of the things, because I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them. I hope. I'm off this
I think we'll be able
month,
to do
so I'm hoping we can get through all of them. But another one we're going to do is Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
it. Yeah.
Another one was Bros.
Bros, yeah.
And then...
That's the wrong spreadsheet. And then we're gonna do The Matrix.
Oh, yeah, The Matrix.
And the reason for that was the Wachowskis. They were the Wachowski brothers back when they made that, but now they're the Wachowski sisters.
Because they're both
trans.
That's
Right.
really awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, that movie isn't about anything having to do with LGBT, but you can kind of see the parallels of someone who wrote and made that movie now being trans. So, yeah. And then we want to...
That's interesting, and it'll be an interesting perspective to think about while we watch it.
Yeah.
Because Joey has told me so many times that I have seen this movie, but I feel like I have not. I don't know if that's a personal, that's a me thing, or if it's the movie thing, because I can't remember. I remember like small little clips of the movie, but I don't remember actually sitting down, paying attention and watching it.
You probably watched it like 7 years ago, so I don't blame you for not remembering any of
Okay.
it. But it's good that you don't remember, because I've seen it a bunch, and then you've seen it one time and can't remember it. So I think it'll be a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
And then also we want to do Bros, because that was the first gay rom-com that was backed by a studio.
Yeah.
It wasn't an independent film that then got bought by a studio. It was backed by a studio from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to talk about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this month.
Yeah.
So, do we want to get into Stepford Wives?
Yeah. What were your... You said you'd never seen it, right?
No, I'd never seen it before. I've only heard of it's Stepford. And I'm like, okay, it's supposed to be like perfect? Too perfect? I didn't know that they were robots. I just thought like they were just like too perfect.
So you didn't even know like the main premise of it.
I did not know the main premise.
Okay.
I thought it was more of like, you know, like in the 50s when they had those like when they were redlining areas. I thought it was like that, but even worse.
What do you mean redlining areas?
So like a red line, it deals with like people of color. So they would have red line districts where only white people could be on this side, and then they would redline all the not great places to live for black people.
Okay.
Because black people were starting to move into other areas, and instead of allowing them to move in, they were saying, okay, well, no, this place is your place and we're going to go to a better place and you can't leave this area. And they were on a map. It was like red lines. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
the exact reason for the term, but that's what that means.
Okay. I'd never heard that term redlining before. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you thought it was redlining for women? Like,
No, I thought it was like, I thought it was dealing with race issues.
oh, okay.
I didn't know the premise at all.
Wow,
and
you
so
really
I
didn't
thought
know.
it was like,
So did you just want
I
to
thought
see
it was
because-
about segregation.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, but like even more so to where like you don't look exactly like us, you're not allowed to live here.
I
That's what
see.
I thought it was about.
Okay. Did you want to see it just because Bette Midler was in it?
No, I didn't know she was in it.
Oh, okay. All right. So this movie, it came out in 2004, and I was working at Blockbuster at the time. So I would watch almost all the new movies that came out. So I watched this, and I didn't really care for it.
Yeah.
this
You told
movie-
me that. You were like, oh, it's not.
Yeah, it was like I think it hits better when you're a little older, but also it just wasn't well received. It has a pretty low rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm not surprised
Yeah.
by that.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes isn't like, the end all be all of
Yeah.
movie ratings. It's wrong all the time. But I watched it once and then I forgot all about it. And then I watched the 1975 one, and that one's really good. I really enjoy that one.
Because isn't that set in like the 50s?
No, I think it was set in present day 1975.
Okay.
But it was a period of time. The 70s was when a lot of women were going to work, right? And starting careers.
Yeah.
And they were like, that was second wave feminism or something
Which
like that.
makes sense. If I would have known that there was an original like 70s one, I could have put those two together. But I thought it was dealing with racial issues because everyone's all dressed in like those like 50s style housewife dresses. And so I thought, oh, it takes place in the 50s.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think like the 1950s here is, so put up on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. That's why they did that.
Yeah.
Like
it's the perfect era.
But in the 1970s movie, the movie was a commentary about how really society just wanted women to be like a home appliance.
Yeah.
Rather than have careers and have like do art and all that stuff. Because the main character in that movie is like a photographer.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember that. I haven't seen that in a long time either. But I think that's what this movie lacks a lot is like at the end of it, you're like, is this trying to say something or not?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Especially with it being a comedy, it's kind of like, is there a message behind this or is it just making fun of?
I think there is. By the way, the director is Frank Oz. Do you know who he is?
No, but I like his last name.
He shortened it from something else. But Frank Oz because he directed Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh,
the
okay.
movie. Yeah, and he's also a famous puppeteer. Like, I think he's the Miss Piggy or something.
Huh.
And maybe Fozzie.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then he got in directing. He's directed a lot of famous movies, but he directed this. What else did he direct? The Blues Brothers? Oh, wait, this is...
What he was in.
No, he didn't direct that. Little Shop of Horrors, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, What About Bob? Bowfinger.
Never heard of any of those.
Of course you haven't. But those
Except
are
for Little Shop. I love Little Shop.
Yeah, those are famous movies that he's directed. People who know movies will know those. And then,
I've heard of Death at a Funeral,
yeah,
but I've never
that.
seen it.
Yeah, and this cast is freaking stacked too.
Yeah.
It's got Nicole Kidman, Matthew Broderick, Bette Midler, Christopher Walken, Faith Hill, Glenn Close, John Lovitz, Roger Bart. Yeah, there's a ton of people in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So what were your general impressions of it?
Like before watching it, or
No. What, like, just stuff you want to get out now?
Well, whenever. There were some interesting effects in this movie that were not good.
You mean like the CG?
Like the fucking dog.
Yeah, that was.
How did they make those women look so perfect and the dog looked like a fucking squeeze toy?
Because it was just CG.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
I feel like just don't have the dog, you know?
Well, the dog had a really big plot point in the movie.
Yeah, at the end, I guess. But it's like someone else could have done that. Something else could have done that.
Yeah.
It was just weird. So, I mean, really, that's it. Like the CG, like there's some effects that are like, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't know. My biggest complaint is this, that they turned a horror movie into a comedy.
Yeah.
They really just, I don't feel like had any business being a comedy.
Oh, no, yeah. That's what I was trying to say earlier is like, it's a comedy now. So it's like, are you trying to say something or are you just trying to make fun of the film?
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of like, if the original movie has like a good, solid, like important message, like making fun of it can be just like too on the nose. Mm-hmm. Or it can be just like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. Or,
which I felt like when watching this, I was like, what is the point of this?
Yeah.
I kept asking myself that.
Yeah. It definitely. But also, I think like the campiness of it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it should have been a darker comedy.
Yeah. I think
it's
a dark comedy would have
campy.
been.
Yeah. But I also think that's might be the reason that gay people like it.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, why is this movie liked by gay people?
I don't know.
Oh,
that's why I wanted to watch.
I thought you were saying like you had like this article was like, this is why this is a gay movie.
Oh no, I didn't read the article because I wanted to watch it and then us talk about it.
Okay,
maybe I should have read the article.
Maybe after
because I have no idea why, other than just like the campiness of it and Bette Midler, and there is a storyline with a gay couple in it. But other than those things, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Why? And you can write in.
It is very campy, but like, there's a lot of campy movies that aren't really gay.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's like different types of campiness now.
Okay.
So there's like gay camp, which would be kind of like drag queens. But then like straight man camp, and I'm saying this as a straight man, is like silly action movies like Commando.
Oh yeah.
That would be like, or the Rocky, like the later Rocky movies when they got kind of silly. Mm-hmm. Like Rocky 4. Remember we watched that? Yeah. I would call that like straight guy camp.
Yeah. What is straight woman camp?
I don't know. That's what I was seriously just about to ask you.
I have no idea. Huh. What would rom-coms done?
Oh yeah, rom-coms.
Done.
Rom-coms and pumpkin spice lattes.
Okay.
No, that's basic.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Stop attacking me. I'm just kidding.
So if you want to write in and tell us that Out Magazine had it wrong and that this isn't a movie liked by gay people, then please write in and let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Because we definitely don't get it.
And if you're a gay person and you've not seen it, watch it and then tell us what you like or don't like about it. Because I'd love to know from like actual gay people. Yeah. And I know a lot of gay people.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear your feedback, friends.
Yeah, we know a fair amount of gay people.
Lots of gay people. Anyways, we love you. We love the gays.
Oh yeah, of course. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't. We wouldn't be here to talk shit about gay people doing this. Okay, you want to get in the movie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Stepford Wives, 2004, is a DreamWorks movie.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, neither was I.
Oh, something that I really liked at the top of whenever they were doing the credits is they had those Houses of the Future clips, and I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I used
And that's
to
another
love
reason
those.
I thought it was going to be set in the 50s.
Oh, okay.
Because like all of that was happening like in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. I used to love those when I was a kid. There was some show that I used to watch with my family, and it was like how things work. Like they would make to show you how a washing machine works or a sewing machine.
Really?
Yeah. It was a British show too.
That's interesting.
But also like they
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's like YouTube.
Yeah.
But probably produced well.
Yeah, but every episode they would do like they would show you one of those old houses of the future. And that was my favorite part. And then when we went to Disney World and we were at Magic Kingdom, my favorite part of Magic Kingdom was Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right?
It's a big, bright, beautiful tomorrow.
Because it was somebody from the 50s and 60s idea of what the future was
Yeah.
going to be, and I loved it. That was my favorite part of the Magic Kingdom part.
Yeah.
All right.
That's I think my favorite part too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it had that Tron ride that was really
Oh
badass.
hell yeah! I wish we could have ridden Space Mountain.
Wait,
that
you want to have sex with Ric Flair?
what?
Ric Flair used to say he was Space Mountain. You know? Oh, the ladies want to ride Space Mountain.
Oh, gross! No, I wish we together as a family could have ridden the roller coaster Space Mountain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucked. I really wanted to ride that
Because
one
I
too.
got to ride it whenever I went my first time ever, and it was my favorite one
Okay. That's
at
cool.
Magic Kingdom. But Tron is probably my favorite now.
Yeah.
Because that was really fun.
Oh my God.
Our daughter even rode it, and she wanted to go. We went twice.
Yeah, we went twice. We got to go twice because the reservation we made at Space Mountain got canceled. So we got to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the reason for it was because you can do fast passes and you can also reserve a spot for later. So I reserved a spot for the later time, and then we got into the queue for the fast lane.
Okay.
So that's the reason we got to go twice.
Oh, okay.
But I think maybe it was the first one was like scheduled, but the second one maybe was the one where we were going to ride Space Mountain, but they closed, and then we had time to like reserve that spot.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
Yeah.
So after the credits, we go to a seminar, and they're talking about television, and we find out that Nicole Kidman is like a CEO of a major network.
Yeah. Which I was really confused about all of this because one of my things I put was now takes place in 2004 because I was really confused. And then like she was showing some like TV shows that she was producing, and they were all like women empowerment, but like to, I guess, degrade men,
Yeah.
kind of,
I
or
can't
like
remember.
destroy their lives. One of them was they were like on this like dating show where like the man was like with
It was called You Can Do Better.
yeah, and the guy was like with this beautiful woman, and his wife was with this like group of men and other people, and at the end, like he was like, you're exactly like I want to be with you. I don't want to be with this beautiful model. And then whenever it was her turn, they like showed all the people that she was with, and she was like, I could do better. And then he kind of is really upset.
Yeah, and then in fact, the guy who was in that game show was Mike White,
Yeah.
who is a famous gay writer.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was gay.
Yeah, that's the guy from who wrote School of Rock.
I know, but I didn't know he was gay.
You told me he was gay.
Did I?
Yeah, because you said he was on Survivor and his boyfriend came to visit him.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he was on Survivor.
Yeah,
That's
but-
so funny.
Yeah, but he's a famous writer. I really like. He's got a fun like voice and look.
Yeah.
Like I always like it when
He's
he pops.
interesting.
Yeah, he's not a great actor, but when he pops up in something for a cameo, I'm always into it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then he turns out to be in the audience, and he's mad at Nicole Kidman, and he's like, "You ruined my life. I lost my wife. I lost my kids."
And he was like, you know what? I found out all women should die. And then he like takes out a gun and like starts shooting.
Yeah. And he starts shooting at it. It's this big ordeal. And then it goes back to the office she works in, and she's in a conference room, and somebody comes in there and tells her that she's fired.
Yeah, because the guy, his name is Hank, the guy that got broken up with, he had attempted to kill his wife and her lover.
Yeah.
And then he went to kill her.
Yeah, so he actually did kill people, and it's obviously, I mean, you would expect if this happened in real life.
No, I don't think he actually killed them. I think he just like tried to, because I think she said that they were in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, if this happened in real life, you know the person who, the head of that studio would get fired for that.
Yeah.
And then she seems to take it okay, but then she goes on the elevator and screams. Mm-hmm. And then she's at home with
her husband.
her husband, who is Matthew Broderick. And then her kid comes out and is like, "Hey, Mommy, I made you a drawing." And it's like a crayon drawing of a guy shooting at her.
Yeah. And her husband there, and you think, oh, like he seems supportive, because he was like, well, we worked at the company together and I quit so that we could
That's right.
leave. Which whenever I heard that, I was like, why would you fucking quit your job? I just lost mine. If you quit your job after I lost mine, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were both like in high-powered television, so I'm sure they have some money stacked away.
Probably.
But anyway, he's like, he wants her to get help and like get well again, and he's like, it's our anniversary, and she didn't even know because she's so out of it.
I didn't register that.
Yeah. So then they decide to move to Connecticut to start over.
Yeah, so they're moving to this small little town in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. And it's a gated community, and they pull up, and there's a sign there that says "Welcome to Stepford." Mm-hmm. And they go and they meet Glenn Close.
And the reason that they're moving to this small town is because they said that their what is it called? The psych person?
Oh, psychologist?
Psychiatrist. But their psychiatrist told them that they should move to this small town because it'll be better for them, because she's having a mental breakdown.
Yeah, so she wants to be in a more open space.
Yeah.
Rather than be in the big city, which I couldn't do. I'd be like, nope, I can't. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah, for real. And it does.
Yeah. And then they pull up, and Glenn Close is in this movie, which I completely forgot about. But she's dressed like one of the 1950s people. Mm-hmm. And she's all bubbly and happy. And you think like, oh, she's a Stepford wife.
Yeah, and she's a realtor. A realtor.
Yeah. A realtor.
A realtor. She's a realtor for Stepford, and so they get this huge ass house, and I'm like, how do they have this much money? But you also said they were high power executives, so that makes
I mean, she was the head of that company, or like a CEO. She was probably making millions of dollars. But she's showing them around the house, and she's like, Nicole Kidman mentioned something about getting electric shock therapy.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. I mean, I think you have to be pretty far gone for someone to give you electric shock therapy these days.
Especially in 2004.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny that she said like, oh, this is a smart house.
Yeah. I have that in my notes, like smart house. So it's like you just kind of voice activated, I guess.
Yeah.
It flushes your toilets for you.
Yeah.
And like reads how much, like if you're like, it reads your glucose and like all these different like body levels.
Yeah, the toilet tests your urine, and like the refrigerator does stuff. I can't remember.
It tells you whenever things are gone. And I thought that was actually pretty funny. Like when they said, like she pushed a button and the refrigerator was like, you need milk or you need eggs. And then later on in the movie, someone opens the fridge and she takes the milk out and closes it. And then it goes, you need milk. I thought that was pretty funny.
I couldn't help but think about like Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
You know, the talking car. You need milk, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's the dog. They call it Robo Rover 3000, and it's the weirdest looking robot dog.
It looks like a little dog squeeze toy.
Yeah, it does, but it's just a CG dog, and it's super simple.
Yeah.
It looks like Gumby. It looks
There's
like a
no
Gumby
hair
character.
on it or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's on a dog hair, right?
Fur. Whatever. Well, not all dogs have fur. Some dogs do have hair. And it looked like a terrier, which terriers do have hair.
It looked like a nondescript dog.
Well, I think later on they were talking about like what that dog was based off of, and it was like an award-winning dog.
Oh.
Did you not? Whenever she was looking at all of like the high-powered women, she also found the dog, and it was this high-powered dog.
Oh, okay.
It was like a AKC,
I don't remember.
whatever, award-winning.
So then Nicole Kidman goes with Glenn Close, and then Matthew Broderick goes to the men's club. And apparently that men's club is where they shot the same men's club for the original movie. They used the exact same location.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like things like that.
Yeah. It was a nice interior, too. You can see why they would have used it.
But Glenn Close and Nicole Kidman, they go to this little area to like work out.
Yeah, it's a spa.
Yeah. Oh, because she said, what do y'all do every day? And she goes, oh, well, we go to the Stepford Women's Spa. And Glenn Close was like was going to lead them in workouts, and all of them were house duty workouts.
Yeah. And
So it was like the washing machine.
Yeah, and they're wearing the same dresses they just wear everywhere.
Yeah.
Like these big, like, 50s dresses, and some of them are wearing big, like, church hats, too.
And they all have heels on.
Yeah. And then they, like, I have written down here, like, chug chugs.
Chug.
That's like a thing.
Chugga.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, she was like churning the washer.
Yeah. And then Matthew Broderick is driving down the street to go to the men's club, and he sees guys playing golf, and their wives are their caddies.
Yeah, they're holding all of their stuff for the guys. And
Yeah, so if you're a viewer and you don't know anything about the original movie, you'll be like, what the hell is that? Like, no woman would do that.
yeah. Is that not something in the original?
Oh, I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a really long time. But you might see a woman playing golf with her husband, because
Yeah.
I used to play golf when I was in middle school, but you wouldn't see them just carrying their bag around.
Yeah.
So
They're
it's
little.
kinda
What is
funny.
it? What do they call the little boys that like hold their clubs?
Caddy?
Oh yeah, that's right. Duh. Anyways,
And then Matthew Broderick goes into the club, and they're all excited to see him and whatnot, but they don't really go inside. And then they have a town picnic.
yeah, I was like, that was really quick because they're like working out, and then all of a sudden there's this like party. I guess they do a lot of events.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's supposed to be the perfect community. So a perfect
Yeah.
community, they're going to do picnics and hoedowns and square dancing and stuff.
but whenever she's there, she sees two like high-powered people that are also there. So she sees Bette Midler's character, who's like writing a book. I think her name is Joe or something like that.
I think
Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
I was like, it's a guy name. So Bobby, and then there's also this guy who's a gay couple. Like he's with a gay guy.
Yeah, and I recognize one of those
He's
guys.
also
that
gay.
Yeah. I'm not gay. My boyfriend is. But he says like somebody says like everybody here looks like a deranged flight attendant.
Yeah.
And then Bette Midler is like, she's a famous writer, and she's wearing a deep purple shirt, which I really liked. And then she's like, "Oh, hey, you're that writer, and you wrote that book." And she goes, "I love you, but please die."
No, I hate you. Please die.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh, maybe I love you.
okay, but she says something like, "You wrote that book about your mom." And
Yeah.
she goes, "I love you, but please die."
Yeah.
And then it turns out John Lovitz is her husband. And she says something like, "Is this guy bothering you?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's my husband."
Yeah. And then they start to do like they call everyone in to do like a hoedown. So
it's
like
square dancing.
yeah, they're doing some square dancing, and they start to like have a decent time and like have fun with each other, and like you can tell that these three are like they immediately click and they immediately want to like hang out together. But during the dancing, one of the Stepford wives goes a little haywire.
Yeah, she goes bananas. And she's saying like do-si-do over and over again, I think.
Yeah. Do-si-do, do-si-do.
Yeah, and she's spinning around and like she's throwing sparks,
Yeah.
which is a little over the top. I don't know if we needed to throw sparks
Yeah,
so
that's-
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her just like kind of small glitching. So it's like, what's going on? This is weird. But it's not like, like if I would have seen that, she was spinning so fast.
Yeah.
And sparks coming out. I would have been like, where the fuck am I? I would leave probably
Yeah.
immediately.
He'd be like, I got to get the hell out of here. People's bodies are sparking.
I would think there was something wrong with me. Like, why am I seeing people spark? Am I delusional?
Oh, yeah. You'll be like, oh, my God, they must have put LSD in the water here or something.
But that's when we see Christopher Walken's character who comes up and he's like, oh, let me fix this. I got this. And he's like this cool, calm, collected guy. So you think he's like the highest ranking guy there.
Yeah. You get the idea that he's the mastermind behind all of Stepford and everything. And he shows up and he fixes her. And then he's like, go put her in my Hummer.
Yeah.
Right. And then later, Broderick and Kidman are talking about it in their bedroom. And they're like, something was seriously wrong with that woman. And nobody wanted to take her to the hospital. And she's already sensing that something's wrong. Like her spidey sense is going off big time.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, it's not that big a deal. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he's going to take care of her and all this. So he talks her out of it. He totally gaslights her.
Yeah.
And then he says, like, she's going to leave. And then he's like, hey, like, I want you to change because, the kids don't know you. And
Yeah. You're never around.
yeah.
Which. Yeah.
And she comes back because she knows he's right. She's like, I've been focusing too much on my career. And she says, like,
I'm going to try this whole Stepford thing out.
yeah. And so she gives in and she's like, I'm going to give it a shot. And this is the moment that you actually start to like Nicole Kidman. It's like, okay, so yeah, she is a crazy workaholic, but she's reasonable.
And she cares.
Yeah, she's reasonable and she cares. And she's like, I'm going to do this for my husband and for my family. And then he's like, okay, so if you're going to try it, no more black.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what he says. First of all, we're in the country, so no more black. No more black? Are you insane? You heard me. Only high-powered, neurotic, castrating Manhattan career bitches wear black. Is that what you want to be? And she says, ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah. So she's taking this to heart, and the next day is like baking the cupcakes the next day, right?
Yeah, she's made. Yeah, she's
5,000 cupcakes.
Yeah, she's made 5,000 of the most disgusting looking cupcakes. They look worse than the food in Hook.
Oh yeah. The make-believe food.
Yeah.
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 But so she's trying it out, and then her friend Bobby, played by Bette Midler, she comes in and she's like, "What's happening here? Like, I don't understand what's going on." And she's like, "I'm really I'm gonna try this Stepford thing out. Like, I think like everyone seems so happy here, so let me try it." And but then like.
And then their gay friend Roger is there too, and it's funny. Bobby says, "You look like Betty Crocker," and he says, "More like Betty Ford." You know who that is?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know who that is.
It's the name. The Betty Ford Center is a famous drug rehabilitation center in LA. So maybe that was a joke just for me.
Maybe.
And then they're like, "What do you do when your neighbor gets hurt in Manhattan?" It's like, "Oh, you go see them." And then Roger says something about like, "Yeah, you go see them to see if their apartment is gonna be available."
If they're gonna lease out their apartment.
Yeah, but that's if you know anything about New York, they have rent control there. Like I have an aunt who lives in Manhattan, and she has a rent control apartment that is literally guaranteed to her for life.
Yeah.
So when she dies, people are going to be like, "I want her apartment." So I think that's what that joke was.
Yeah, it was definitely a reference to that.
Yeah.
But they are like, "Okay, well, let's go see her." And they go to her house, and they're like sneaking around, and they sneak in the back door.
Yeah.
And the back door is open, and they were like, "Oh, so trusting." And they walk in, and they hear her having sex with her husband.
Yeah. And it's very loud and over the top.
Yeah, and she's like screaming.
Yeah.
Like not like moaning, like literal screaming. Like you could hear it and be like, "Is someone dying?"
Yeah, it was like crazy porn star fake screaming, I guess you could say. But it was supposed to be comical, and it was funny. I laughed.
I thought it was funny too.
Yeah.
And they're like watching like, "Whoa, what is happening up there?" And then they're walking back because he's like, "Hey, get me a beer or something."
No, he says, "Go get me some nachos." And I thought to myself, like, my God, I got to eat nachos after sex sometime. That sounds so good.
Go get me some nachos. So she's like starting to come downstairs, and so they're trying to hide. And
They find her remote, though.
yeah, they find this remote, and they're like, "What is this?" And what is his name? Ramen. I said
Roger?
Ramen. Roger. He like starts playing with it and like messing with it, and then you see her like going up and down the stairs because he's controlling her. And then like she falls down at some point, and then they like leave.
Yeah, they throw her remote down and they leave, and they run back to Midler's house, and they go in, and her house is just a complete insane mess.
Yeah, it's a pigsty. Like there's like crap everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't remember what she says about it, but she says something.
she says sorry, I just burped. My psychiatrist says I need creative chaos. And then Roger says, "My shrink says I need boundaries." And Joanne says, "My doctor says I need enough electricity to jumpstart Vegas."
So like they're kind of bonding over this, like we're all insane. And I don't really remember what happened right after that.
Something about moving to, I think Bobby said that it was court ordered that they had to move to Stepford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Kidman is like, let's try to give it a try. Like she talks them into also giving it a try.
Yeah.
And they agree. But I like this part of the film because it shows like these are the main three people that you're supposed to care about in the movie, right? And it shows them all bonding together, and I really like it. Like I'm really getting on board by this part of the movie. Were you?
Yeah. I mean, as on board as I could be.
But also at the same time, like at the beginning, you like Broderick's character, but now you're starting to like fall away from him because it doesn't seem like he actually cares about his wife. At this point, he just wants to get what he wants out of her. Which I mean, I think at initially his heart might have been in the right place, but then
Yeah.
he just like, I'm sick of my wife. I want to turn her into a robot.
But he doesn't know that they're robots. I think it's in the next scene where
But he sees all the other guys' wives, and he's
that
like,
they're
I want my,
submissive.
yeah, I want that. Like, he knew that part of it.
yeah, he wanted submissive wives. Oh,
Yeah.
a submissive wife like the rest of them.
Yeah. So then they go to the men's club, and they're there doing battle bots. You remember that?
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty funny. And then he's like, all of your wives are so like, and then the guy's like smoking hot. And then is this the part where he calls his wife in to?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sticks an ATM card. What did you think was going to happen after he put the ATM card in her mouth?
I had no idea.
I was totally being like, I bet you he's going to reach under her skirt and pull money out.
Oh my god.
That's what I thought. The whole time.
I could see that.
Yeah, I bet you that was in the script, and they're like, no, this is PG-13.
But yeah, he like puts his card in her mouth, and then you hear all these like sounds. I expected some kind of money. I just didn't know where it would go or it would come from. And so she dispenses this cash out of her mouth because during the battle bots, he owed him money. And so it was their way of saying like, hey, our wives are robots and they do whatever we ask.
Yeah.
And then he takes out his remote and starts controlling her.
Mm-hmm. And then the women and Roger are having tea at a book club. Mm-hmm. And you think they're going to be talking about like an actual book. But then Glenn Close pulls out the Heritage Hills Special Edition Golden Deluxe Treasury of Christmas Keepsakes and Collectibles. Mm-hmm. That's the full title.
So like, and then they start talking about pine cones and everything that you could do with a pine cone.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you could like, I'm going to use pine cones in my decoration on my tree. And I'm going to use pine cones to make snowmen. And so they're just like discussing like all these ways to make pine cones. And then they even like said like, oh, well, there's even a section for like, because Bobby is Jewish.
Right.
And they are like, oh, well, there's even a Hanukkah section. What could you do with a pine cone for the Hanukkah? And she was like, I'm going to put on my lawn a huge display that says Big Jew in pine cones, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then she makes some crack about like making a pine cone vibrator or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one I thought was a little far.
Whatever. And then they're doing Christmas songs.
Yeah. And I think Bette Midler is just sitting over there in the corner just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, she's totally not into it.
Mm-mm. But the next scene, it's during, because I think that scene happens before the men's
Yeah, it does.
thing. But while they're there, they hear this thud from upstairs, and it's Bobby and what's her name? Nicole Kidman's character.
Well, now it's saying she goes back and makes cupcakes. Maybe that's the part where she's making cupcakes.
Huh.
And then she's playing with the robo dog. Or the kids are playing with the robo dog. And then her friends come over, Bobby and Roger. And then Broderick is like, I'm off to the men's club. And she's like, when are you going to be home? And he's like, whenever I'm home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they go to spy on them, like Bobby and because Roger is invited to the men's club, even though I guess he's supposed to be like the girlfriend in the gay couple or whatever. But Christopher Walken's like, we're very open-minded here at Stepford. So, we accept you guys, even though you're a different kind of couple. And Bette Midler and Kidman are outside, and she's like, haven't you noticed how all these guys' wives are bimbos and they're all drooling nerds? And she's like, that's normal for me. I work in television.
Yeah. And so like they're upstairs and they're trying to hide from their husbands.
Yeah, they're trying to spy on them because they know something's not right. So they're at the men's club screwing around.
Does her husband see her up there?
No, Roger comes and finds them.
Oh, yeah, Roger does. So
Yeah.
Roger sees them, and the ladies leave, and then they come up and they were like, Roger, did you see anything? And he was like, no, I didn't see anything. And that's when they take him to this room. And you don't see anything in the room. You just see his reaction to like seeing something.
Yeah.
And I think he screams. Possibly.
I don't remember. I just know that his partner is like wants him to go in. Mm-hmm. And then you realize like, okay, he's going to be one of the Stepford wives the next day.
Mm-hmm. And they're in a town hall meeting because Roger is going to run. Someone in the town is going to run for Senate, and
first they go to his house and he's not there, but they go through his trash and they found out that he
threw all away his shirts and stuff.
And he's like, she holds up a shirt and it's got Viggo Mortensen's face on it from Lord of the Rings, and she's like, he got rid of his Viggo shirt. And then they're having that little
town
hall meeting for him to announce that he's running for Senate.
But they didn't know it was him, and then he comes out, and they're like, he's a completely different person.
Yeah, he's just acting like, a Republican politician. I mean, he's acting like Mitt Romney or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I believe in Stepford, and saying stuff like that. And they're like, why are you different? And he's like, people can change.
Yeah.
And you can't stop Stepford.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's like cheering and hyping him up.
Yeah. And then this is the part where Nicole came in and is like, we've got to go.
Yeah. And so she's talking to her husband. She's like, we need to leave. Like, we need to get out of here. And her husband was like, well, I don't remember what he says to her, but
he's like, he just basically says, you're never going to change, and you're running away from this because you don't want to be normal and all that. And then he's like, if you're that unhappy, just leave. And he gaslights her into staying again. Mm-hmm. And then that night, the dog comes in, and he's got a remote with her name on it.
Yeah.
So that's when she's like, okay, I'm going to go pick up my kids from camp or whatever.
Yeah. So but I thought this was all happening at night.
Yeah, it is all happening at night.
I think it's at night initially, and so she starts looking up all of these women.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And she finds out they're all high
women.
power women. And that's when the dog brings her the remote. And then so the next day...
No, she starts researching because she finds she gets the remote.
Oh, okay. But the next day she's calling to get her kids out of camp, and they're like, oh, well, you can't pick them up. And they give all these like things... why she can't leave or whatever, and she makes her way to the house.
Well, she goes to see Bette Midler.
Oh, yeah.
And she finds out that Bette Midler has also been programmed, if you will. Mm-hmm. And her house is super clean, and like she's got 3 sons who we didn't know.
Yeah.
They're just there all of a sudden. And she's like packed them these perfect lunches and given them action figures. Mm-hmm. And one of them's like, what about the Boba Fett doll? And she goes, oh, I couldn't get it. Here's $1,000.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And so like you can see that Bette Midler's character is trying to get Joanne to kind of conform with them a little bit. And so she goes to the men's club.
Well, she tries to pick up her kids. But she goes to the men's club to get them or something like that.
I think she already had called them, and then she got to Bette Midler's house.
Oh.
Because she was going to tell her to run away with them.
Oh. Well, I have in my notes that the Bette Midler puts her hand in the fire and it doesn't hurt her hand.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes to pick up her kids, and she's in the men's hall place or whatever it is, and she finds a painting of her and her family, and she looks like a Stepford wife.
Yeah. Because in this whole thing, she has brown short hair. And in the picture, she has this like medium length, perfectly straight with a flip at the end, blonde hair.
Yeah. Do you think she looks better brunette or blonde?
Blonde.
Yeah, I do too. I prefer brunette hair, but I think she looks better as a
She definitely looks better as a blonde. But she So she goes into this house and like she's like, what is this? Like, what's going on? I want to leave. And her husband comes out and he's wanting her to conform.
Yeah, and he basically just airs all his grievances and says like, you're better at me than this, and like you're better at that. We work for the same company and you're higher up than me. And she's like, I don't see what the big deal is. But he, like, everybody's like, we married Wonder Woman or Wonder Women. And
what do we get?
Yeah. And I say, hey, man, you get to spend that paycheck, dude.
For real. And you have a fucking fantastic wife, like a really cool fucking wife.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Totally, man. I like telling my wife, telling people that my wife is a high school theater teacher. It's fun for me.
No, not soon.
No,
Not
yeah.
anymore.
Well, now I get to tell people you're a head director.
Yeah.
And you run your own program. I like telling people that. But the thing that I don't get about this is like these guys are pretty high powered too. Like they're saying like they work for NASA and AOL and all this stuff. And you're like, well, what are you so mad about?
Yeah, for real.
These guys should be like blue collar doofuses or something like that. Doesn't make sense. It's like you got a hot, high powered wife who makes a lot of money, and you have a good job too. Like you guys got it made.
So I don't know what convinces her to like go down to that lower base room, because she talks to him. She's like no one can say that I love you. Like even if you transform me, like they can't say I love you. And he said, oh, they can say it in multiple languages. And then she says, but will they mean it?
Yeah, they can't mean it. And then also Walken shows them a commercial that I don't remember. Like that commercial the commercial was totally forgettable. Should have been cut out of the movie, in my opinion.
It was short enough as it is. Like the movie was pretty short.
Oh, the movie was. That's one of the best parts about this movie is it books. It's 90 minutes and it is like scene by scene by scene. Doesn't waste any time.
But she goes down to that lower room, and then the next thing you see this like bright light, and they're lowered, and the next thing you see is her like at the market, like saying hi to all of the women. Hi, hello, and they're shopping.
In this very sterile looking grocery store. Yeah.
And then the next
and I think the scene was lifted from the original movie.
Oh, okay.
I think like it's this scene specifically, the grocery store is paying homage to the original movie.
But the next scene is when they're like at this like party, I guess, to introduce the next like the new Stepford couple. And so like there's like dancing happening, and Joanne is talking with Christopher Walken's character. And so Glenn Close is like, oh, well, let's dance with Matthew Broderick. And he's like, oh, let me go get you some punch. And she goes, let me do it. And he's like, okay. And then he walks away to go inside the men's club.
Yeah. So Kidman is distracting Walken, and he goes inside the area where they make the women into Stepford wives or whatever. And all while this is going on, there's a dance party, and they're cutting back and forth. And Matthew Broderick is just like screwing around with all the computers down there, trying to figure out what he can do.
To like stop it.
Yeah. And Kidman is walking around in a garden with Walken, just like trying to keep him busy the whole time. And she's like flirting with him and telling him how smart he is and all that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he starts deleting programming.
Yeah. So all of the women start like coming back to their realization that of like who they actually are. And like the women are like argue, or like not arguing, but they're like circled all of the men, and they don't understand what's going on. And that's when Glenn Close goes up to her husband. She's like, they're all going haywire. Like they're not working anymore.
Yeah. And all this time I was thinking to myself, like, why is Glenn Close not snapping back?
Yeah.
Like she's obviously a Stepford wife. Right. But she never flips back, and you're like, okay, what's going on here?
So he comes back, and like Joanne reveals that she's not actually a Stepford wife. She's still the same person.
Yeah, and she calls back that show at the beginning, and she says, I can do better.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they really should have saved that for a better, like that. It just felt so flat right there.
Yeah.
Like, wait till the end of the movie, or, like, I think they could have brought that line back at a better time for sure. And then it's revealed that Matthew Broderick couldn't go through with it and turn his wife into a robot.
Yeah.
And Christopher Walken is like, I thought you were ready.
Mm-hmm. And then there's one point where Glenn Close is trying to like hit Matthew Broderick or something like that. Oh no, Christopher Walken's about trying to hit Joanne, or like trying to do something to her, and then Matthew Broderick hits his head. Maybe is it that way?
I know. I think it was Nicole Kidman that hit him.
Okay, well she hits him upside the head, and his head flies off.
Yeah.
And then you see all of the wires. So it wasn't Glenn Close's character. It was Christopher Walken's character. That was the, I was about to say zombies. That was the cyborg.
Yeah. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? It's a nice reveal. I think I like that a lot, that they revealed that he was the Stepford
husband the whole time. I think what I really liked, she had, Glenn Close then had like a really long monologue, which I didn't love it, but I did love the fact that she killed her husband after he cheated on her, because she was like this high power woman. He cheats on her with her assistant. And so she was like, well, I love him. And she kills him and her assistant.
Here, I've got it here. It's pretty great.
Okay.
I was the world's foremost brain surgeon and genetic engineer. I had top secret contracts with the Pentagon, Apple, and Mattel. I don't know. I guess that's a Barbie reference.
Yeah.
I was driven, exhausted, until late one night I came home to find Mike with Patricia, my brilliant blonde 21-year-old research assistant. It was all so ugly. Then early the next morning, as I gazed across the breakfast table at their lifeless bodies, I thought, what have I done?
Which that tells you like, oh, she fucking killed him.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I did too. It just came out of nowhere. But more importantly, what could I do to make the world more beautiful? And killed them. Wait. I asked myself, where would people wouldn't notice a town full of robots? Connecticut.
Yeah.
Real slam at Connecticut.
So she's like all upset, and then she even gets shocked by her husband's head.
And dies, I guess.
I guess. But then all of the women like continue back, like they kind of flip back, and then they like hop on a news show.
Yeah, they're on Larry King Live. And they're like, Joanne, she was, a television executive, so she made a documentary about the whole Stepford Wives thing. Mm-hmm. Midler wrote a book, and then Roger actually did make it to Congress. And then they show all the husbands, and they're now house husbands.
Mm-hmm. And you see them all in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's right. They're in the grocery store.
They're like, where do I find this? And they're like, I don't know. Where do I find this? And then like over the speaker, they're like, stop talking to each other or whatever. And then it kind of just like, they were like, we have a reprogramming thing for our husbands, which, okay.
Yeah. I don't think they should have showed that part really, but I don't know. I think the real thing here would be like an instant divorce.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
If you turned me into a robot, I would divorce you immediately.
Okay. Let me take out my notebook here. For Christmas, do not turn Aaron into a robot and move to Connecticut.
Scratch that off. So yeah, that's the movie.
Yep, that's the movie. So Aaron, I want to get your rating on a scale of 1 to 9 cat lives.
I'm going to say this movie is 7 6 cat lives.
6 cat lives.
I'm in between like 5 and 6, maybe 5.5 cat lives.
5.5 cat lives.
The movie, like there were some funny moments in the movie, but I think it was overmasked by like the really bad CGI and the I don't know, like it didn't feel like there was like a message they were trying to send. Like I know there's supposed to be a message with this, but I don't
know if there was.
I didn't get it. As like I didn't get a message, and I think this movie needs one. And
I don't know if it needs a message, but it needs like some sort of comment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean. So yeah, I thought I like the cast was really fantastic. The acting is really good, pretty good. I just feel like it kind of missed the mark.
Yeah.
What is your rating, Joey, of 1 to 9 cat lives?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 9 cat lives, I'm going to give this movie a 5.
Okay.
Now, I think the Rotten Tomatoes score was like 28 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
That's terrible. This movie isn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's very a middle of the road movie. Mm-hmm. The script is all right. They got a lot of really great actors to be in it. But at the end of the day, it didn't really succeed as a comedy very well.
Yeah.
Even though I did laugh at a lot of jokes.
Yeah, there were a lot of funny jokes, but I just feel like it was just like a joke, to make it a comedy, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You got to have this many jokes. And that's what I felt like. It was like, oh, we checked the marks on enough jokes for a comedy.
Yeah. I like the look of it besides the CG. And I like the story overall, but I felt like it really could have benefited from like a South Park or a Simpsons style social commentary with it.
Yeah.
Like I loved how the Simpsons had those really smart, like subtle social commentary jokes in it.
Yeah.
Like the one that comes to mind is the episode where Homer gets a gun. There's so much smart commentary jokes about like the gun culture in America.
Oh.
In that episode. You probably have never seen it.
Nope.
But I think that movie could have benefited greatly from this, to have some stuff that people could talk about after the movie's over.
Exactly.
And be like, oh, wasn't that joke so funny? They're making fun of Republicans and shit like that. And this was before all the crazy Republican fascism that we're dealing with now. So like you could have had some Ronald Reagan jokes in there or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I could see why somebody would like this movie. But it is, unfortunately, what kids call today mid.
Yeah.
It's kind of mid.
It is mid. So yeah, like that's our movie. That's our rating. I do have a game for us to play. Are you ready, Joey?
Yes.
This game is called Guess That Icon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some details about an iconic gay icon.
Okay.
I'm going to give you details about a gay icon. And you have to guess who they are.
Oh my God, I'm gonna
some of these
stink
are
up the place.
I think some of these are actually gonna be like super easy for you.
Okay.
All of these people you know of.
I know of them.
Yes.
Okay.
There were some of them I was like, who's that person? There was one of the lists that was kind of like modern people. And I was like, I don't know that person. So I didn't put anything that I thought you would not know. And there's only 5 of them.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one I think is really easy. So this person dubbed the Elvis of homosexuals by The Advocate. Okay? By The Advocate, they were dubbed the Elvis of homosexuals.
The Elvis of homosexuals?
Uh-huh. One time this person told their daughter, who is also a female icon, a gay female icon, that at her funeral, she envisions gay singing Over the Rainbow and the flag at Fire Island being flown at half-mast.
Wow, I'm completely drawing a blank.
There's a hint in it.
The gay Elvis icon? What?
No. They envisioned gay singing over the rainbow and the flag at Fire Island being flown half-mast.
Is it Judy Garland?
Yes, it is Judy Garland. We need a little horn sound. Okay.
Because Wizard of Oz is famously a movie loved by gay people.
Yeah, that was part of the first part, and I was that's too revealing.
I've always wanted to know what it is about that movie. Is it because it's a musical with bright colors? I
think it has that camp that you were talking about.
Okay.
Like all of the very vivid, bright colors. Her being in this dark, monochromatic world, and then coming into herself in this bright and colorful place. I think it's fitting.
Okay.
I find it very gay.
I guess maybe that you could call that the original gay camp movie.
Okay, so this person shocked the world by...
Is it the Shockmaster?
No. By shaking the hands of a patient with HIV. They were also played...
Oh, I already know who this is.
By Kristen Stewart and Emma Corrin, who are both queer actors.
Princess Diana.
Princess Di.
Yeah, when you said shake the hands of somebody with AIDS, I was like, oh, Princess Diana.
Yeah.
I
knew you were going to get this. Okay. This one, I feel like you might not get. Okay. So, this is a 2000 horror film of the same name. While writer and director Jennifer Kent might have created this character with the hopes of inspiring terror, queer people detected a beauty within him that the rest of the world failed to see. This character is a gay diva with a capital D. And when a straight-laced mother and son try to oust him from his safe space just because he's a little different, he does what any self-respecting gay would do. He stands his ground.
Oh.
It's a fictional character.
Fictional character.
From a horror movie.
From a horror movie?
In 2014.
2014. Man, this is tough. I don't know.
I will tell you, I think the character's kind of like a demon-like character.
Uh-huh.
But people try to get rid of him. But he stands his ground. I don't think you're going to get this.
I don't think I'm going to get it either.
It's The Babadook.
Oh, no, I would have never gotten that. I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen it either.
Yeah. Well, now I want to watch
evidently, it's a gay, iconic gay movie. I think that would be a really fun one to do for the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. This person's career started in a gay nightclub called The Lion in Greenwich Village in New York City. This person wrote, "We're all unique and beautiful in our own way and entitled to love and be loved by whomever we choose. Her message of hope and love and freedom is only amplified by her immense voice," which she's a singer, "which for good reason has stuck with fans for over 6 decades." So she's been around for a while.
Damn, I don't know.
I will give you a hint. She was friends with Judy Garland.
Oh, that's not going to help me. 6
She was
decades.
She was on her show often.
She had a show?
Judy Garland had a show. And this person was on the show with them often.
Shirley Temple? I don't know.
One more guess?
Go back and read me some more hints from that.
Their career started in a gay nightclub. They said that that we're all unique and beautiful in our own way and entitled to love and be loved by whomever we choose. She told people to not tell her how to live, just sit and putter.
I haven't got a clue, sorry.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter.
Who is it?
Barbra Streisand.
Oh, okay.
Barb.
That makes sense. I wouldn't have guessed that, though.
Okay. Last person. Across his career, he would blur the lines between the construction of masculine and feminine, acting as his feminine alter ego, Camille, on If I Was Your Girlfriend, and often appearing on stage in high heels before bursting into distinct falsetto register. His distinct falsetto register. Even though he identified as straight, his androgynous appearance made way for media scrutiny and speculation over him being otherwise. It is
Elton John?
Nope. It is not only in his constant determination to be his authentic self, but in his proud embrace of his identity that LGBTQ plus people have been able to relate to his art, his words, and his legacy.
Liberace? I don't know.
He's a singer and he has a really high pitched voice.
The guy from Fine Young Cannibals?
No, it's Prince.
Oh, Prince. Yeah, the high heels. Yep.
Alter ego Camille.
I didn't know he had an alter ego.
I didn't know he had an alter ego either.
Yeah, we got to do Purple Rain on here.
Purple rain, purple rain. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All
You
right.
got 2 out of the 5.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Damn. I feel like I should have done better than that.
that's okay. Some of these were kind of hard.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you for joining us for this Pride Month episode.
Please make sure you message us at joeyanderinpod at gmail.com
Yep.
so that we can hear all of your thoughts on the movies that we watch, any suggestions on movies that you want us to watch. The movie list that we have right now is not solidified. If you want us to say, hey, I would rather listen to this other movie than this one, we'll listen to you. Will we take that advice? Possibly. It's not 100%, but you can try.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to write in with a movie suggestion.
Yeah.
And nobody ever does.
We would love it. Please tell us what you want us to talk about.
All right. Well, guys, don't forget to slay and neuter your cats, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.